Hi everyone. Good evening. It's 5 o'clock West African time here. How you guys doing? How's your day? Hi. Hi. Someone is greeting me. Good evening to you too. How are you? I'd like to hear how you guys are. How's your whole week been? Thank God it's Friday. So how's your week been? How's it been? What are you looking forward to today? What are your expectations? Did you do my assignments? I got a couple of people's emails. Some people were just sending me their own assignments a couple of minutes ago. Okay. Yeah, so how you guys doing? I'd like to hear from you. What's up? I see a couple of people joining in from LinkedIn and some people on YouTube and I think some people on Facebook. Yeah, so that's cool. So how you guys doing? Welcome, welcome. If you did not attend last week's session, you can go ahead and watch that on the channel when we are done with this session. But well, I hear from you guys. Hi, Raphael. Thank you for attending. Good evening. Okay, so last week we covered a lot. We introduced UX design 101 basically was what last week was titled. We talked about the UX design process. I think it was a bit intense. So let me hear from you guys. How was last week? What did you learn last week? What are you hoping to how are you hoping to use your knowledge? Hi Adepeju. Okay, so I want to hear from you guys. I want to know how the whole thing has been. What's something new you've learned in UX design? How are you? What's your prophecy of the future? How do you see the near future for yourself? So I want to hear from you guys. Okay. Yeah, so I gave you guys assignments and like I said, some people only submitted a couple of minutes ago. So let's see. I'd like to start reviewing a couple of these now. Hey, James. Good evening. Okay. So I'll just pull up some people's assignments and we'll look at it together. Okay. Let me see the ones. I don't know whose one I should use as case study. Where is it? Okay. Here it is. Okay, so I will not call your name. I'll just read whatever it is that I want to read here. Let's see. So I gave you guys assignment to do research on double diamond design process. I also said you guys should tell me your own pain points, document a couple of your own pain points. From it, we'll choose a project. Also, choose your own favorite app. Tell us what you like about the app. Tell us what you dislike about the app. Yeah, so those were a couple of assignments I gave you guys. I think I gave you three or four assignments. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so I will just go down to the second one, which is about pain points. So someone said their points are having to stay in a long queue at the bank to resolve the unautomated online issue. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I think I have to call your name. That's Adiola Alade. But I get the part of staying in long queues in banks here in Nigeria. Okay, another pain point here is having to trek some distance before getting public transport. That's some real pain. That's some real pain. Okay, let me see someone else's on. Okay, I have another person saying my pain points the moment one tries to pay for a service and then gets debited with getting the value of the service and then the money failed to reverse even after laying a complaint. Okay, this one is a very painful pain point for me as well. Up to now, GT Bank. in case a staff of GT Bank is listening to this, GT Bank is owing me about 12,000 naira since last year, November. Practically, I would say they've stolen the money from me just because of this particular pain point. And this is James on. And yeah, I paid for a service somewhere. I was debited. They told me it was a failed transaction. I even got a receipt to show for it. However, I never got my money back from the bank. I went to the bank, I complained, I still got nothing. Yeah. Second pinpoint here by James is assuming you would not want to take Fumi's call, but then she called you while you were on a call with another person. Most network providers will tell Fumi that the number you're calling is on another call. Obviously, she would then know that you've avoided our calls on purpose. Okay, interesting one. A very interesting one. Okay, so I think that's a pretty common problem. However, I think it's usually happening to you because you put on a setting on your phone called call waiting. So probably it was on by default, or maybe you didn't know. So maybe you should check it out. Someone should correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's a setting called call waiting that basically allows someone else to know that you're on another call. If not, it will just tell the person number busy. Well, okay. Let me see if I can see one more. One more. Pain point. Okay. So it says, this actually includes a lot of my own personal frustrations. I don't know if this necessarily has anything to do with my learning UX design, but I'll have to list them. Yeah, sure, list them. Everything has to do with your learning UX design. Truly. UX design, like I told you guys a couple of weeks ago, is nothing on its own. We are only solving people's problems. Nothing on its own. So problems exist. We try to solve it. That's UX design. That's that's all there is to it. Okay, so first one she listed is Sophia is the fact that I struggle a lot with my time management. Okay. I struggle a lot with my time management. That's one frustration. That's one pain point. Number two, I do not have an online means of income. Okay. Number three, I have to hand wash clothes for like 2 hours within 2 days intervals. That means I need money to get a washing machine. Okay, okay. I like that. So those are three problems from Sophia. Okay, cool. I think let's see. Okay. If you know you did not submit your assignments, guys, if you know you did not submit your assignment, start contributing to the conversation right now. Right? It's either you want to be here or you don't want to be here. I told you guys I will not chase anyone. You're encouraged to participate. But the issue is that if you don't participate right now, it will be difficult for you to participate weeks down the line because you'll have missed what's going on right now. You'll have to go back, watch the video again, maybe have to do the assignments before you can be able to catch up weeks down the line. So I encourage you. These are the easiest assignments you have. These ones I'm giving you guys now are the easiest. Starting from today, your assignments are not going to be so easy. Okay. James is saying, hi, Cyril. I'm sorry for murdering your name. Prekeka said 4 assignments. Okay, so that means there's one missing in these people's assignments. Welcome. James says, yes, you're correct. But if the call waiting isn't activated, then it will return number busy to the next person, which isn't so good. Well, yeah, I now see why that's a problem. So you don't want some people to, you don't want somebody to be able to call you, but then it's saying, no, busy. Why not block the person? I think that might, what about that? Let me know what you think, James. Why not block that person? Just block the person. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Um, I want to. So I've read out a couple of people's pain points, which is interesting. If you have some more, please drop it in the comments, and I'll read it out. So, what we're going to do today, what we're going to do today are two major things, actually, or three major things. The first would be I'll quickly cover what we call the user-centered design process. It's actually similar to design thinking and double diamond. It's kind of similar, but not really. Um, so it's basically a way of breaking down the UX process. So I'll quickly cover that within a very few minutes. The second thing we're going to look at is research. We'll get into research hardcore, and here I'll introduce you into it. I think I have a video that I'll play for you guys, a few minutes video, and we'll talk about methods. So the video is actually about UX design methods. Some of this you would be familiar with if you attended a university or a college, basically any tertiary institution, or if you read some books, you'll be familiar with some of this. Then the third thing is I'm going to show you guys what a research plan looks like, because everybody's going to create a research plan for their project. So everybody's going to choose one of their pain points, one of your pain points, or maybe some other pain points. You can choose one of it, and then you're going to conduct a full blown research on it between now and this time next week, and you're going to submit your research plan. So you submit a research plan to me, and you're going to just do your research. So let's see. Okay, Sarah says this is my first time here trying to get the gist. Okay, so basically the gist is just UX design. We have done couple of episodes already. This is the third episode, so I would encourage you to go to our YouTube channel, and you see the videos there. You see the replay there, so you can watch the replay. You get the gist of it. I would encourage you to do that ASAP, if possible today. Get a replay so that you can be able to move on, but you're not too late. Fumilayo says, Hi Grace, I just had the opportunity to join the live session today as I just subscribed to your channel, but I'll try to submit the assignment from now on. Okay, welcome Fumilayo. So the same thing I said just now applies to you as well. James is saying what happens when she tries to call with another number if I block her. Okay. Hmm. That has becoming a complex problem, but yeah, you can actually, like we said, we're trying to research. We're going to choose a project. Everybody will choose the biggest pain point you have, or you just choose a project that you like to work on. It might be your own pain point and somebody else's pain point, but everybody's going to choose their own project. You think about it on your own and choose something you like to create a case study on, because this is going to be your very first project in your portfolio. That's for those who don't have any project, or this is going to be an extra project for you in your portfolio if you already have one. And we're going to do the whole full-blown process of UX design. This is going to take us a couple of weeks. So it's not going to be a rush process. And I think I need to quickly tell you that this whole program, this whole training I'm taking you guys through is it's not a quick, it's not one of those programs that you do and you say in a few weeks you are done and you are now a great UX designer. Nope, I'm not making such promises. And I'm not telling you that when you're done, you're going to get one superb job that will be paying you hundreds of thousands of naira. Nope. What I am telling you is that you're going to get the actual principle. You're going to get the principles properly. You're going to understand UX design process. You're going to be ready for a job, and I can actually guide you through getting one as a job. Hi, David. You're welcome. Okay, so yeah, so moving on, other parts of your assignments were double diamond UX process, and this is basically I already showed you guys the diagram last week. What the double diamond design process looks like. If you didn't see it, again, watch the video or just Google it. You see the picture. Double diamond UX process. So the assignment was basically for you guys to just research it, and the whole point of this, just like other UX processes, is to focus on the user. So that leads me to, so if you did your assignment, I'm happy for you. Then let me quickly cover the last part of the assignment, which is for you to choose a favorite app, and tell us some things you love about it or some things that you dislike about it. So let me read what somebody says. This is also Sophia. She says, WhatsApp Messenger app. Okay, that's a favorite app. I'd like to say something about the WhatsApp app. The app has proved itself to be useful for me because it serves a lot of communication purpose, be it just messages or MS. That's multimedia. It's one of the best platforms for me where you can easily express yourself between families and friends, even with the use of emojis and the likes. The platform has served the delightful characteristics of a good UX because it is visually appealing and easily understandable and easy to use by people of different ages. The app also passes the useful characteristics of a good UX. Wow, that's detailed analysis. I like that. So that is why she likes WhatsApp Messenger app. Then the next one she said is the app with issues, the one she doesn't particularly like. Okay, so she said, I also like to discuss the WhatsApp app. Okay, One of the issues I personally have with WhatsApp is that they do not include a feature whereby a user has a lot of messages unread. It doesn't help give a signal whether you have read it up or you just opened the message. I'm not sure I get that. Okay. A good way to describe this is one of the features that Telegram app has. This is simply that let's say an example of you having like 120 unread messages. If you click open on Telegram and go through the message up until like 50 and you still have like 70 read, once you close the app and reopen again to show you that you have 70 messages unread. But WhatsApp doesn't have that. Once the message is open on WhatsApp, even if you don't read it all and mistakenly close the app and reopen again, it shows as though you have read up all the messages. So I think I get that problem now. Yeah. So I feel WhatsApp needs to improve on that particular feature. I get it. It happens to me too. So it tells me, okay, I have like, especially those groups that I belong to, where it will just tell me I have missed 100 messages. And then I open it, even though I didn't read the whole thing. If I mistakenly close it and I come back, it's like I've read the whole thing. I didn't really read it. I just read like maybe one or two lines. Then I'll have to scroll all the way to the top if I want to read it again. Yeah, I totally understand that problem. Okay, what's the name of the YouTube channel? The name of the YouTube channel is Command Design Academy. That is the name of the YouTube channel. If you are subscribed to my emails, then you should already be receiving this. You should have seen the link in your email. If you are not subscribed, please go ahead and drop your email so that I can add you to, or basically just email me at commanddesign@gmail.com. No, commanddesign.africa. Commanddesign.africa@gmail.com. Then I will add you to the list. That's for Bola Gunte Oyelola. Okay, so hey Kayode, you're welcome. Okay, so I've read one person's app that she loves and the ones that she doesn't particularly love. Let me read one more, then we'll move ahead with what we want to do today. Let's see. Whose one should I read again? Okay, let's see this one. Okay, so this is Adeola. Okay, favorite app. So he chose Fiverr for his case study. He said likes things that he likes about Fiverr are easy navigation on both web and mobile app, excellent customer support system, top-notch responsiveness. Okay, things like dislikes are no media features such as audio call and video call, hereby making collaboration with clients a little bit difficult. Okay, second thing dislikes are is no direct local fund payment from Fiverr wallet, unlike Upwork. Okay, this is really good analysis. So let me tell you the reason I gave you guys this assignment, especially the part of pain point and choosing an app. When firstly, if you did your pain point assignment, that's you choosing pain things that bother you personally and then documenting it. Those are ideas on what you can use to create your portfolio. Those are ideas of things that can make up individual case studies that will make up your combined portfolio. The second assignment, which is to choose an already existing app, is another way of also compiling your portfolio, which will give you ideas. So, for instance, the one I just read, Fiverr. So, if these are stuff that you think that you wish were improved on, now it is left for you to now say, okay, you now compile this as a problem statement. Like, okay, so this is the problem, basically your dislikes, so to say. Then this is a problem, you document it that way, and then you go through the whole process of UX research, UX design, which is from researching, understanding the problem, and then moving on. So that's the reason I gave you guys this assignment, and that is why. So I'm already telling you how you can choose your problem, your project. So choose your project either from pain points or choose it from one of your favorite apps or app you don't like, something you don't like about an app, whatever. So choose. I'm leaving that up to you guys to choose your project. Let it be something that you're passionate about. It's an individual project. It's not a group work. I'm repeating that again. I said that last week. Okay, so now moving on. We're already 20 minutes into time, and I want to quickly cover user-centered design process, like I said. And okay, so let me quickly. Okay, so before I explain that, Can anyone tell me what they think user design process is all about? Have you heard of the term before? Or even if you've not heard of it before, say from the name, what do you think it means? What do you think it means just from the name of it? Please let us know. Let us know. Let us know. What do you think it means just from the name while I'm trying to share my screen? Tell us something. Tell us something. Okay. All right. I won't be able to wait, but still let me know what you think. Um, okay, so UX design, the whole process of UX design is something that we would say should be user centered. I believe you guys can see my screen. User centered, and user centered design is basically an optimistic approach to inventing new solutions. That is like you believe things are possible. It starts with human beings, that is your users, and then ends with answers that have been tailored to their individual needs. What that means is like I gave you guys assignment, for instance, to find out pain points. So if that was a as you believe, as you have experienced it as a pain point, personal pain point of yours, other people might be having such problems, and so that's you trying to create solutions that are tailored to those individual people's needs. Okay, so some principles that are associated with user-centered design are empathy. Empathy meaning you feel for the other person, you actually walk in their shoes, that is, you have to understand them. Optimism, you believing that yeah, you can do it, you can solve the problem. Iteration, knowing that whatever it is you do the first time might not be the final solution, you might actually have to iterate. Creative confidence, of course, we know that what that means, being confident in your creative ability. Belief in making, yeah. Embracing ambiguity, because sometimes you should know that what you're trying to solve might not be a specific problem and you need to learn it, you need to understand, and then you have to be able to learn from failure. So these are some principles of user centered. And I know I gave you guys this already to do, but I just like to cover it again. So you should think about this. Why do you like your favorite app? That was your assignment for last week. When you think of Facebook, what color comes to mind? And why does that color come to mind? I usually ask this question, but I will not be able to wait for you guys' feedback. But still, let me know if you what color comes to mind when you think of Facebook. What color comes to mind? Think of some apps now. Maybe Instagram. What color comes to your mind? Okay, well, we said it here. Why does Instagram use color red for its like button? You can answer any one of these questions. I want to hear what you guys think. Why does Instagram not have a button to hate a post? I want to hear what you guys think. These are some questions that like I throw out my students to think about. Then why do you think e-commerce sites make use of a shopping cart icon, right? So I want to hear what you guys think about this. Raphael says, okay, about user-centered design. Say yes, it means market research, competitor analysis, persona creation, user interviews, user testing, low fidelity wireframes, and much more. Okay, so you've mentioned a couple of things that might happen while you're going through a UX process, but not necessarily what user-centered design means. But thank you for that, Raphael. Okay, so I'd like to hear what you guys think about these questions I've asked. Choose any one of it and respond in a comment. Okay, so a few notes I'd like to point to you guys is that little design details makes a difference on a user's experience. Very, very little. And you would see that from the questions I just asked, right? Those things that you think the thing that think you think that are important to you are probably not important to someone else. Ones I think are not important to you are probably very important to someone else, vice versa. So the look and feel of an app are only an aspect of a great UX. We talked about that last week. Users react differently to look and feel, just like I said now, and then you must actually research your users to know what really matters to them. So the fact that you feel that pain, don't assume that everybody feels it or that you actually have a market. And this is an actual recipe for failure that many businesses or many business owners fall into. They have an idea, they're in their home, they're in their office, they go ahead and then straight up they start trying to create an app, trying to create a solution. But in the end, they're not building for anyone. They didn't validate whether other people have this same problem, which is where research comes in, which is the phase of where we are. We might not be able to finish everything they plan to do today. We have more time. We have next week. So I would just like to explain very well, and I would like to take as much questions as possible. Uduak is asking, can we get the slides? Nope, you cannot get the slides. Just try to focus on what I'm saying. The slides are not that important. Sorrel says, Facebook and Color Blue are best friends. Exactly. That's accurate. So blue is what comes, at least that's what comes to my own mind. Color blue. Okay. Let's 1 second. Okay, so yeah, so let's see. I think that's all I had for you guys on the slides. Now, I always like to say these things to my students, which is that you are not your user. Like your users are not like you, they are not you. I like to emphasize this because this is something that we fail to practically understand many times. You are not your user. Let me repeat it. You are not your user. Your users are not you. They are not like you. Your users do not know your product the way you know your product. So when you've created those your beautiful designs, when we get to UI design, when we get to Figma, we start designing those things. I like to create this. By the way, I like to lay this foundation. So I'm going to take a lot of time in this part of UX design process. So when you create all these beautiful designs later on in the near future, don't assume that your users understand your product just like that. No, if they don't understand it in the end, it is not because they are dumb. It's not because they are foolish. It's not because they don't understand simple things. It's just because you are not your user, and it's because it's unclear. Your designs needs to be as dumb as possible. Okay, so it is important for you to tell the users through your design what they need to know. What you think is common sense to you, maybe to your users, especially those that are first time users that are not your own existing users. Okay. To say an e-commerce website, make use of shopping carts because developers want to create the impression of shopping as though users are shopping in real life. That's true. So yeah, that is the reason why shopping carts icon are used on design. So when you see Amazon or Jumia, any of these sites, and you see that icon called shopping cart, that's this icon. I want to share my screen. When you see this icon, the shopping cart icon, you automatically know that they are basically creating a match between the real world and the system. We're going to talk about something in the near future called heuristics. Heuristics of UI design. When we get to UI design, and that should be 2 weeks time, probably 3 weeks time, we'll go ahead and talk about this. So if you want to research on this ahead of everyone, this is the spelling of what I just said, heuristics of UI design. So go ahead and you can check this out. Okay, so heuristics of UI design. I'm not making it compulsory as your assignment, but if you want to move ahead of the class, you can Google that, you can research it. There are 10 heuristics of UI design, and what I just said now, the match between system, that is what you are developing, the system, and the real world. That's why these icons are being used to represent the real life. That's why when you've performed an action and you see that tick, it's because that's something people understand in the real world. The shopping cart, the love icon, that love icon you see on Instagram, it's because it's something that people understand already. So you have to create, you even though you're a designer, you'll be creative and you try to bring some innovation and stuff like that. You need to be careful with your innovative abilities or your creative abilities, because people still need to be able to relate with what you're designing and the real world. You don't do something that is extraterrestrial because what you're trying to do as a UX designer is to solve problem. Yes, you can be creative, but try to keep it a bit in line with industry standards and what users are familiar with. Okay. Um, um, One or two other things I would like to say on this is that design decisions, whatever design decisions you make, must be made on the knowledge of your users. That is research. your designs, after you're done with your design, when you've created your designs, you must test them with real users. Emphasis on real users. Real users, not yourself. Real users, not just someone you see by your side. Real users, not your colleagues at work. This is something that happens a lot in workplaces, right? You design something and then they'll say they are testing it. Meanwhile, you're just collaborating, you're not testing. When you are sharing, when you are showing your designs to colleagues or to stakeholders, those are not those are not real users. Those are just colleagues. So that's collaboration testing. Okay. So I'd like you guys to do some research on, so that's the first assignment. Do research on user-centered design process. I'm not mandating you guys to submit this one, but I'd like you guys to research this. Watch, if I can, I'll find a video and send the video to you guys. But basically, you can Google, you can YouTube this, YouTube search this, go to YouTube, and you can just type in user-centered design process. That is user-centered design process. I'm trying to spell this out. Window. I think that's clear. So now moving on to research methods. I'm sure you guys know a lot of this. So please, I think Raphael or someone already listed a couple of this already. I want to hear from you guys. What are research methods you've heard of before? What are research methods? I know people know this already. So this is going to be a bit of a breeze. So please, what are research methods? Just type something that comes to mind. There is no foolish answer, no judgment here. So please just type something that comes to mind. Let us know what research methods you know. And while that's coming in, I would like to say that UX research is something that is very essential in understanding the problem that you are trying to solve. So the one, for instance, what James has said, and you see when we talked about it for a little while, we're like, okay, why not block the user, not do this file? And we're already thinking of ideas. But even before going into ideas, you need to understand that problem itself, which is where research comes in. You need to be able to identify the actual pain point, which is the first thing like you have done already, you guys have done. You also need to be able to validate your assumptions. That is, maybe you've assumed, let me see, let me try to use one somebody else's project. So you've assumed, okay, let me use Adeola's assignment, that on Fiverr, for instance, there's no media, okay, so there's no media feature, that whole thing about collaborating with clients, that you would have loved if Fiverr had a feature where there was like audio call or video call. That is the problem, right? The problem is the absence of media communication, no real life communication with clients. Now, what research helps you to do is to validate that assumption, is to first identify the pain points, right? Okay, so you've identified it, but you need to know whether other people are having the problem. Is this something that is worth solving? Then it's going to help you also to be able to validate any assumptions. Maybe you've assumed that people want to be able to call their clients, or even clients want to even be called. You've assumed, right? So research will help you to validate that or even invalidate it. Sometimes you might go out with an idea in mind to go and do research, and then when you go out to do the research, you find that, man, that's not going to fly. For that reason, you would have to drop that idea, and that's invalidating your assumption. And then it helps you to design with your users in mind. That's the whole point of user research. I can see some people dropping some things. Only two people dropped something. There are more than two people here. And I'm sure I think I have more than 20 people watching me right now at the very least. So I can see quantitative research method. Yeah, that's broad. Can you break it down? What are specific quantitative research methods? I can see questionnaires. That's good. Thank you for that. Please let more come in. Remote usability testing. Awesome. That's great. Let's more come in. So while I'm expecting to hear from you guys now, there are two ways of broadly dividing user research methods. I'll play the video that I mentioned for you guys in a moment. I need to separate it into even more methods. But two broad ways are qualitative and quantitative, like Paul just mentioned. Qualitative are the ones that help you to understand why. That's to understand why and what. Qualitative helps you understand the what and the why. I'm saying it again. Qualitative helps you understand what's the problem. Why are people having this problem? So it is more about what and why, like I said. Okay, then quantitative is more about numbers. How many, right? How many people are having this problem? Now, some examples of qualitative methods are interviews. Okay, I'm seeing more coming in. Interviews. We have interviews. We have diary study. We have what we call contextual inquiries. Okay, so Lillian says surveys. Yes, surveys. Interviews. Sophia, thank you. Fumilaya says surveys. Yes. Thank you, Ademola. Okay, so um, interview, diary study, contextual inquiry, participatory design, concept design. So let me try to break those down a bit. Interviews are where you have this one-on-one conversation with someone. It could be face to face, it could be remote, that is online, but basically you're having a conversation, a live conversation with someone. That's an interview. There's also focus group. Focus group is where, like interview, was just more than one person at a time that you're talking to. So it's a group of people that are bound together by a similar cause. For instance, if you were doing if we wanted to work on a project that was about, say, gender-based violence, let me use that as an example. That is, gender-based violence. So, or maybe sexual abuse, for instance. If you want to do such a research, you might gain something. You depend on the project and depend from the angle that you're trying to solve a problem from. You might gain from researching or bringing a group of people together. That would be a focus group. Then if you are doing a one-on-one with people, that's interview. That's different between interview and focus groups. You guys would actually have to do some of this already during your research. So please try to participate as much as possible. Prakash said diary studies. Yeah, diary studies is one where um for instance, if you want to do a research on, let me see, what could it be? Okay, let's say you want to solve a problem of exercising. Let me use people that just gave birth, right? People that gave birth 6 months or 8 months ago and they're trying to shed weight. So recent nursing mothers that are trying to shed their weight. So you want to solve such a problem, but for you to be able to understand their lifestyle, their current schedule, their life schedule, you have an idea that they have a busy schedule. That's why they are not able to research, or maybe it is that they are tired. Whatever assumptions, you have a couple of assumptions, and you list all these assumptions in your research plan, which you guys are going to do. Then when you want to do your research, you might benefit from a diary studies, in the sense that you tell the participant to basically take a jotter, a diary, right? Where they will just document their usual day life. Diary studies is one that you do when you cannot be physically present with the person that you're trying to research on. You cannot be physically present where you need those data. Okay, thank you. Prakash said card sorting. Yes, card sorting is a quantitative method. It is more about it's more of a quantitative method. Okay, let's see. User personas. User personas are not research methods. User personas are not research methods. I don't know if someone is saying it is somewhere on the internet, but to the best of my knowledge, they are not. Okay, we'll talk about user personas in the future. If you want to know what user personas are, please go ahead to Google it if you want to know it ahead of the time of class. So quantitative methods are there are many of them as well. Surveys, like you guys have said. A/B testing, that's something nobody said. A/B testing is where you test two versions of the same idea, one against each other. Let me give you guys a good example of A/B testing. By the way, A/B testing is also called split testing. An example is, let me ask you guys a question. I'd like to hear from you. Have you visited a site one time, maybe for those that are not use Canva, or basically any site, you visited a site and then you opened it, you saw what was there, but you took a walk, or maybe the next day you came back and then you saw something different, and then maybe you go again, you come back, you see something different. Has anybody experienced that? Maybe a website, or maybe even an app or something. You saw a version of something at one time, and then at a short interval in between, you saw something else. Has anybody experienced that? I'd like to hear from you guys. Okay, so while I'm here waiting to hear your response, let me quickly fetch the video that I said I was going to play for you. Okay, I'd like to hear whether anybody has experienced that. Yes, yes, yes. A lot of people have experienced that. Okay, so let me tell you what's going on there. It's a research method called A/B testing. A/B testing. So they are testing two versions of the same thing. A/B testing or split testing. What they are trying to understudy there is how many people will take a particular action, right? When we show them this versus when we show them this. That is all. That's what they're trying to do. That is research. So a lot of times, okay, so someone said no. So if this thing happens a whole lot. So that I'm just trying to tell you that in your real life, what you're experiencing a whole lot of UX work being done every time. And this is something that happens a whole lot in workplaces. Let me read what James is saying here. I see a long comment. James says, as regards the lack of a media platform on Fiverr, I think the developers built the app without media platforms on purpose. This is because they wouldn't, I guess, want job seekers to communicate directly with potential clients. They always want to act as potential they always want to act as middlemen. This is their own way of getting paid. However, this is a problem for the users, job, contract, or for the user that is job or contract seekers, and it's a pain point. Okay, I like that. I like that analysis, James, but I like to quickly point to you that you've made a lot of assumptions. Making assumptions are not bad. As a matter of fact, it's a good thing. It shows that you are thinking as a UX designer, making assumptions. But I want you to clearly know that you've made assumption. One assumption you've made here is that the developers built it on purpose. That's one assumption. You are assuming it is on purpose, and then you're also assuming that it is because they don't want job seekers to communicate with potential clients. That's something that you would research and you find out whether that's true or not. Then you're also concluding that it's actually a pain point for people, especially from the point of view of the client. So these are things that you document in your research plan, that these are my assumptions and these are things I want to validate or invalidate. Okay. I need to quickly rush because I need to show you guys what a research plan looks like. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so let me share a screen with you guys so that you can watch this video. And yeah.
Karina, head of the student team here at Career Foundry. Today I'm going to tell you all about UX research methods. UX research is the process of gathering insights about your users in order to make smart design decisions. It ensures a user-centric approach and is key to defining the right problem statement and coming up with effective solutions. With the right research methods, you'll learn about your users' needs, goals, and pain points. You'll validate and invalidate your own assumptions and continuously test the usability of your design. In this video, I'll explain the different types of UX research. I'll then introduce some of the most popular research techniques used by UX designers. To finish off, I'll share some tips on how to choose the right research method. By the end of this video, you'll be ready to identify the most effective user research methods for your next design project. First up, let's take a look at the different types of UX research. When choosing your research method, it's important to consider the kinds of outcome that each can deliver. The data gathered throughout the research process may be quantitative or qualitative, and attitudinal or behavioral. So, what's the difference between quantitative and qualitative research? In simple terms, quantitative data is basically anything measurable. How many users visited a certain page on your website? What percentage of visitors made a purchase? Quant methods, as they're sometimes called in the industry, help you to put a number on the usability of your product. They also allow you to compare different designs and determine if one version performs significantly better than the other. Qualitative research, on the other hand, focuses on the reasons or motivations behind its actions. Why did the user click? Why didn't they purchase? You can think of quantitative data as fixed, while qualitative data is more descriptive and open-ended. A further distinction to make is between how qualitative and quantitative studies go about collecting data. Studies that are qualitative in nature are based on direct observation. For example, you'll gather data about the user's behaviors or attitudes by observing them directly in action. Quantitative studies gather this data indirectly through an online survey, for example. We'll take a look at some common qualitative and quantitative research methods later on. For now, let's consider the second dimension, attitudinal versus behavioral. When conducting user research, you also make a distinction between attitudinal and behavioral research. In other words, distinguishing between what people say and what they do. Often the two are quite different. Attitudinal research gets alternative and nuanced information about these methods. In other words, using stated beliefs, expectations, and perceptions. For example, you might conduct an interview with a user to find out their opinions on certain concepts, or to discover their motivations for using a certain app. Attitudinal research is especially useful for gleaning insights that wouldn't be apparent when observing user. Perhaps their motivations for using a certain app. They can attitudinal research is wiser if you simply watch them interacting with the product in its current state. Then there's behavioral research, the holy grail of UX. Behavioral research refers to any direct observation method and seeks to understand what people do in a given situation. Direct observation is extremely valuable as it gives you an authentic sense of how people interact with your product in the real world. Methods such as A/B testing and eye tracking can show you exactly which actions the user takes when presented with a certain layout, for example. So, to recap, attitudinal is based on what people say, while behavioral is based on what people do. It's important to think of these research types, quantitative, qualitative, attitudinal, behavioral, as dimensions rather than hard and fast categories. These research methods will not fall strictly into one category. Rather, they'll produce a mixture of both self-reported and behavioral data, for example. A great resource for visualizing this framework is the Niels Forman Group's landscape of user research methods, which you can see on the screen right now. Now we know about the different types of UX research, let's introduce some specific methods. Some of the most popular research techniques used by UX designers include A/B testing.
Hey guys, I'm getting feedback that it is echoing. It was echoing. Did it stop echoing at any point in time before I go ahead with the video? Please, I want to know, was it echoing throughout or was it at one point in time? Because I know I mistakenly did something. Please let me quickly hear from you. I want to know if it was echoing throughout. Was it? Was it? Was it? Please let me know. Please let me know. Uh, James Edo. Oh, it was echoing throughout. It's been echoing from the beginning. Damn. Oh wow. I'm sorry about that. Okay. Because we won't be able to go back through the whole thing. Let me try to. I don't know if these are the problems. I had I think I had the tabs open. It stopped at a point. Oh, it's been echoing throughout. Yes, of course. I would actually send you guys a link to the video. That's what I was going to say. I will do that. I'll send you guys a link to the video. Um, it must be a problem from the tool I'm using to stream. Anyway, this is what we'll do so that we don't spend too much time. I'll send you guys the link to the video. But the point of the video, the point of the video was that let me just send the link right now so that you don't have to wait for my email. So the point of the video is it's talking about the differences, the different type of research methods, qualitative versus quantitative, then attitudinal research methods versus behavioral research methods. And I'd really like you guys to watch the video. That is the link of it. Please copy it and you can watch it after this session. So that was the point of the video, and it's a really, really great resource. I recommend you guys go ahead and watch it. Now, I want to quickly go ahead. I want to quickly go ahead to show you guys what your research plan would look like. I'll just show you guys one or two different templates, one or two different templates, and then I'd like you guys to take some notes about the major things that should be in your research plan. Now, what's a research plan? A research plan is, oh, sorry about that, guys. I didn't know it was echoing throughout. So I've sent you guys the link so you can just watch it afterwards. It's a great resource. So um what I a research plan, as I was saying, is something that documents the problem you're trying to research. That's the background of the project. It will state clearly what your objectives are, what are you trying to achieve. So the whole point is to document your plan toward solving a problem. Okay. So let me share this screen with you guys where you see what a research plan looks like. So this is a research plan template. This is one template. Background. So basically, for this for your project, you would list, you would document what are the signals or hypotheses that led to this research. For instance, fiber, person that had problem with fiber, or the person that has a problem that of having to walk a long distance to get transportation. So what are the signals or hypotheses that led to the research? Those are your own personal experiences. You document it. What needs to be validated or explored? What are the What are the possible opportunities that you're seeing? What are you trying to validate? You need to be very clear about it. What has there been some prior work done to this research? For instance, do you have some solution ideas? You write that separately as a different paragraph. If you have solution ideas, don't mix up the problem you are trying to solve and the solution in one sentence. They should be clearly separated. The problem is different from your possible solution. In the end, what the solution you are trying to prefer in the end might not in the end, the problem you're trying to solve might not the solution might not actually solve that problem in the end. So you need to separate it. Then, and what's the purpose of the research? What exactly are you trying to find out? You have to be very, very clear about it. What insights are you hoping to gain? How will those insights be used? Or how will the decisions be made based on the insights? So please, if you have any questions or any confusion as regards um this research plan I'm sharing with you guys, please go ahead and share because this is your major assignment for the week. It is very, very important. Now, objectives is the next part, whether goals or objective, whatever it is you want to call it. The idea here is for you to clearly list out what are the information about the users that you want to collect. Okay, so let me quickly show you guys from this second one. So you have background, you have research goal. So it's sometimes called research goal. You can write this as a paragraph of, okay, this is what I'm trying to find out. You can pick it out from your background. I know a lot of us did these things in when we're doing your final project or something in school. So let me see. Okay, so we have research methods. Now, what methods do you want to use to solve this problem? So based on the video that I've said you guys will watch, and if you find some other resources online, but also based on what we've discussed, different types of research methods our would suit a particular problem more than the others. And I want to say something quickly, and this was mentioned in the video. I really wish we could have watched the video together. But there's a part of the video that recommends that you do qualitative research before you do quantitative research. The reason is because, and I agree with this, I do this a lot in my work. The reason is because qualitative will give you more information like on what you're trying to solve and why. It gives that kind of data. Meanwhile, quantitative is most of the time used to validate the data you have gotten from your qualitative research. What that means is when you want to do qualitative research, usually with a small number of people, and I'm saying this now, I don't expect you guys to do research with more than 5 people. 3 to 5 people is a perfect number for your research. 3 to 5 people. I'll send you guys an email. I really hope I'm going to send you this weekend an email that will document a few resources that will be helpful to compile your research plan and for your research. So 3 to 5 people, I'm repeating it again, is what you need to do for your qualitative research. Qualitative research being things like interview, focus group, those kind of things, right? Meanwhile, quantitative is more number of people. So you found out a couple of things from your qualitative research, from your interviews, for instance, and then you need to find out, is this something that a larger number of people are having issues with? Is this something that a larger number of people agree with or resonate with? Then that's where quantitative research comes in most of the surveys. So I'm not expecting anybody to do surveys now. I'm expecting you to do surveys first, right? I'm expecting you to conduct things like interviews, stuff that are more qualitative in nature. So whatever it is, the type of research you're going to do, you document it. Then research scope. Okay, what kind of questions would you ask? Like basically high level stuff here, you document here. I probably will send you this research plan template as well, but I'd like you guys not to use it as law and order. Still Google, you might find some other research plans that will suit you better. You can send it to me. I can tell you if it is okay before you go ahead with your project, with your assignment. But okay, choose, let's say, so design focus components. All these are not, everything is not, you don't need to include everything in your research plan. The major things that needs to be, that needs to make it into your research plan is the background, your participants, the type of participants you're going to have. Yes, your research participant profile. What group of people will they be? For instance, the example I gave, like if you want to solve, if I want to research something around gender-based violence, for instance, then these are the certain group of people that you're going to research. One group of people might be survivors of abuse. Another group of people you might want to research would be probably what they call them, subject experts. What do we call them again? Subject matter experts. Yeah, those are like maybe doctors, basically people that have knowledge of of the problem, not from a point of view of working in the shoes, not from the point of view of the survivors. I hope you guys get what I mean. And then maybe another group of people might be parents. If it was like for young children you were trying to solve that problem for, then maybe their parents might want to do a research. Whatever the group of segment of people, you document it separately. You write the name of the group of people, then how many of them do you want to talk to? Between 3 to 5. You see how I said than 5 people. Then where would you find this group of people? Are you going to find them on WhatsApp? Are you going to find them? Where do you intend to recruit these people from? Those are things you document here. Are you going to include a screener? A screener is basically those kind of questions that you first ask so that you don't get irrelevant group of people in your research. For instance, the same example I'm giving, you probably would want, maybe you put it on your WhatsApp status. Have you experienced something like this? So anybody that says yes, maybe the group of people that will respond saying yes to you and the people that you know that these are potential people I can research. That's called a screener. So a screener might just be one question or two questions, not many questions really. If you're trying to solve like Fiverr, the problem with Fiverr, for instance, your your screener question could be do you have a Fiverr account? Do you work on Fiverr? Anybody that says no to it, you know that these are not people I want to research, for instance. That's a screener. And then appendixes, okay, it's not important. I don't expect you guys to include this. I know I can see some questions, but before I attend to the question, let me quickly finish this. This is another template. This is a simplified version of the former one, which is basically just document your background. This is something I now remove. So research goal, you document the research goal. Method, how do you want to do it? Is it 30 minutes in person or video? Is it going to be a semi-structured interview? We know we have unstructured interview, semi-structured, we have fully structured interview. Unstructured is where you don't really have a script. You don't have a set of questions. Just go ahead and interview people like freestyling. Semi-structured is usually the one that is recommended, where you have a set of questions, you have your script, but based on how your this is for interview anyway. Based on how the interview is going, you might need to ask some follow-up questions. That is semi-structured. Meanwhile, structured are like those kind of interviews people have with the president of a country, where you must have you must stick to the script from the beginning to the end, no deviation, nothing like that. Those are structured interviews. So I'm expecting you guys to do semi-structured for those that are going to be doing interviews. Recruiting, how many people will you be recruiting? What are the selection criteria? Screening questions. If you're having screening questions, this is optional. Like I said, you just document one, two, whatever the questions are, you just write it under the section. Timeline, how long is this going to take you? Projection, you write it down. Then your script, your actual script. Oh, my name is blah blah blah. Thank you for participating in these studies. I'm working on blah blah blah. I'd love to hear your thoughts. On I would like to have an interview with you. It will only take 15 minutes. It will only take 30 minutes. Whatever it is, you write that. This is basically what you're going to say during that session. Then your actual interview questions, you document them under it, then you wrap it up. That's all. I usually write this under like a recruiting email or recruiting message, basically. Depends. It could be an email or it could be a message that you send to people on WhatsApp or on LinkedIn or on Instagram. Basically, you can spot out group of people that you know can fit into your project and then just send them a message. So this is just again a script. So that's basically what your research plan should look like. I think I'll send you guys these two templates for you guys about. Okay, let me pick the question. questions I can see here. Chidima says, how do we know how to draft out the questions we'll be using in carrying out the research? Or better put, what to look out for while asking the questions? It depends on what you are trying to find out. It depends on the project you're working on. There is no wrong or right question to ask. There's only how you should ask questions. That's going to be one of the resources I'm going to send to you guys. So let me quickly note that down. So I'll send you guys some resources on carrying out research. So basically, there are only rules to how you don't ask questions. For qualitative research, you try to keep your questions as open-ended as possible. Open-ended meaning that you ask questions that are not going to give you answers like yes or no. Yes or no data is not really the kind of data you need for qualitative research. You need more story. You need more explanation. Not that you cannot ask questions like yes or no, but you try to avoid it as much as possible. But if you ask such a question, and person say yes to something, so you probably have to tell them, "Oh, can you please give me some more information on this?" Or you have to ask some follow up question. Okay, why do you say that? Okay, have you experienced something like that? Whatever it is, basically you follow up. So you don't ask open ended question. Also, the second rule to research is to research questions is that you don't ask what we call leading questions. Leading questions. Leading questions are those kind of questions that you ask that in the end the answer is sure. Let me think about let me think about one. Let me see. Okay, I can think of one now. So a leading question could be for I think it was James' problem of calls. So are there some times where somebody is calling you and it's just annoying to you, and you don't like people calling you like that. You see how specific and leading that question is. There's nobody you ask that question that would not answer in a certain way. That's a leading question. The leading question is one that the answer is for sure. So that's a type of question that is going to get you useless data. In the end, it's not going to do anything for you. That's a leading question. So those are the two major rules when it comes to asking questions. For Chidima that asked me that. But again, I'll send you guys some resources on this. Let me repeat the rules again. Number one, try to keep your questions as open-ended as possible when it comes to qualitative research. So for this research plan I'm telling you guys to do, it's for qualitative research. I'm not expecting any quantitative research. Nope. I don't want surveys. I don't want any of that. I want things like interviews, things like focus groups. I want things like contextual inquiry. Contextual inquiry is where you are physically in a location and then you conduct an interview. For instance, if you're solving a problem that has to do with maybe supermarket long queues. Okay, the person I mentioned long queues in banks. I think I saw that in one of the assignments. Long queues in banks. So you might do a contextual inquiry where you are actually physically there. You might even take some pictures. So those are how you document your research eventually. Make sure you take pictures. You make sure. I'm not expecting you guys to actually do your research between now and Friday. I'm not expecting that, but if you can, perfect. But before you go ahead to do your research, I would recommend that you send me your research plan by Wednesday. By Wednesday, please. Please, nobody should be sending me assignments after Wednesday. After Wednesday, it's unlikely that we'll have the chance to review it before Friday. So please send it by Wednesday. I'll be able to review it. And then if you want to go ahead to do your research, that's awesome. That's perfect. That's kind of that the research plan you're creating is only for qualitative your qualitative research. There's another question here. Rafael is asking, do you think if we are working in a corporation, it is what to do an interview with stakeholders as well? The first question I would ask you is who are stakeholders? And the answer to that is there are two types of stakeholders. We have internal stakeholders or in-house stakeholders, and we have external stakeholders. In-house stakeholder. Okay, so let me talk about the external ones first. The external stakeholders are our users or customers, depending on the product. By the way, there's a difference between users and customers, and I want you guys to do a research on that. That's your another assignment. Difference between user and customer. So it depends, right? So external stakeholders would be users or customers. And so if you're working in a corporation, in a company, it is worth doing interview with stakeholders because now it depends on who you're talking about. I'll assume you're referring to in-house stakeholders who are like your fellow designers, your what's it called? Your the developers that work on a solution, management, builders like your bosses, project managers or product managers, those are in-house stakeholders. They are actually important as well because you need to be able to balance business goals with what users want in the end. So we've actually exceeded the time for this session. So if anybody has any more question, I'll just take one more question before I wrap it up. I hope you guys are clear on your assignment. I think I said you guys should do a research on user-centered design process. Second thing I said is differences between user and customers. And the third one is for you to create your research plan, create your research plan for a problem that you choose. So yeah, so to answer the question more directly, Rafael, yes, it is what doing interview with stakeholders, but depending on the project you're working on, it might be relevant, it might not be relevant to actually talk to, say, your boss, or to actually talk to, say, the management. Depends on the problem you're trying to solve. I remember at one time one company that I was working with, we're trying to create an in-house solution. So because we're trying to create an in-house solution, primary audience are in-house staff, they're staff of the company. So that meant that I had to do interviews actually with those people who you call stakeholders in quotes, right? So I believe I answered that question. Prikaka says, is asking, please, I didn't quite get the question for assignment except for user-centered process. Okay, so I just repeated it. User-centered design process, difference between user and customer, excuse me. And then the third one is your research plan. You create your research plan for the project or for the pain points that you are choosing. Okay, so I will please you guys should stay glued to your email. I will make every attempt possible to send you guys this email this evening with the resources I promised and also with the research plan template. As usual, you can go ahead and watch the replay. Like I said, I decided to make the replay available for a period of time. So you guys can watch the replay on the YouTube channel, which is Command Design Africa, sorry, Command Design Academy. And if you have not been getting an email from me, please send commanddesign.africa@gmail.com an email so that I can add you to the list of people that needs to be getting an email. If not, you will not get the email I'm going to send this evening. Don't just join because somebody sent you the link and not benefit from the process as much as possible. So thank you guys. Thank you for joining today's session. It's been interesting for me. Please let me know if there's any last thoughts or words, something you'd like me to address quickly. And if not, that'll be till next week. And so thank you very much, guys, for attending today's session. And see you guys. So let me just give it a few seconds before I end. Before I end it, in case somebody's typing something. So let me just give it like 30 seconds. So please, again, I would just like to say that if there's anything that's bothering you, go ahead and send me an email. I would respond to your email. The only time I may not respond to your email is if it's an assignment that I'd like to review in class. But if you have a specific question, I would actually respond. Thank you to Prikeka. Thank you very much, guys. And see you next week. Bye bye.